4 minutes, okay? 4 minutes past 1. That's not bad, really. That's not bad going, considering my morning. Hi, gang. How you doing? What's happened this morning? Well, I've been on a... Hey, Paul, how you doing? I have been on a conference call, again, a tutorial with Silestone, Decton, the company Constantino. So they've been doing some teaching on their product. So I was kind of hopped onto that. And then, of course, because we're all on lockdown, today was the day that my tech went wrong. So it's that thing, isn't it? You know, we're all trapped in our houses, and of course our washing machines are breaking down, and our ovens decide not to work. And today was the day that my 62 gig phone decided that it had 61.5 gig already filled. I don't even know how I've done that. I don't think the 35,000 photographs and 9,000 videos help, I've got to say. But moving on, I have tried to start getting some photos out. And so that the end result is that, you know, yesterday's live, if some of you joined on yesterday's live, as soon as I tried to share it at the end, Instagram just crashed and my whole phone crashed and I haven't been able to do anything on it. So, thank you, Mr. Moregeous. my little assistant has just brought me a drink because he knows I've had a very busy morning. Thank you for that. I'm not doing it with Mr. Moregeous today, as it were. Yesterday we did a really good one, and I have managed to save it. We redid it. We had to redo it from the live. We practiced it and did it again, and I've put it up on YouTube, their YouTube. But I've now managed to get it off my phone and onto the laptop, and I'll share it in a bit because it was quite a good one. It was all about outdoor paints and what to use and how we cocked up here and how we're going to fix it and all of that. So anyway, today I'm glad I haven't had a Red Bull because I'll be talking even faster. Today, what I thought we'd do on Wednesday Wows, because we're going to focus on interiors on a Wednesday. What I thought I'd do is talk a little bit about, and show you something as well, and talk you through a little bit about kind of feature walls. Okay, so you're all immediately thinking, feature walls are so 2015, nobody's doing feature walls anymore. But of course they are, aren't they? They are. We're all still doing feature walls. We're just doing them in a different way and we're not calling them feature walls. So gone are the days where you could just get a roll of paper and put it on a wall and there's your feature wall and everybody's happy. Gone are the days. What we're doing now is we are looking at wallpaper. We're spreading it across the ceiling, or we're doing whole walls, or we're using paint. You've probably seen on Instagram, haven't you? People using painter's tape and paint in really interesting ways to do, I don't know, mountains and triangles and geometric shapes and circles, big circles of paint to sort of tap into the arches and circles trend. So people are still doing feature walls, but we're just doing them in a slightly different way, and a really innovative way. And one of the things I think that, of course, we're all trapped in our houses, aren't we? We're all trapped in our houses looking around and itching for things to do. And one of the ways you can do it is by kind of reimagining a feature wall in your house, wherever that wall is, if it's a living room or a hallway or a bedroom. So you can kind of look at something, and there might be a... sorry... It is Tuesday. It is Tuesday. I'm talking about Wednesday Wows. We're going to do a Tuesday transformation. Oh God, should I start again? It's because my Wednesday Wows for tomorrow and my Tuesday transformation is very much interlinked. So today we're going to do the Tuesday transformation, which is this wall, and then tomorrow we're going to tap in and talk more about feature walls. Oh, honestly, Zoe, thank you for that. So, I'll carry on. We're trapped in our houses and we're looking around, and one of the walls that I was looking at a couple of weeks ago is a feature wall in our bedroom. And even though I liked it, it's the fireplace wall, and it's the kind of main feature, it's the wall that we look at all the time. And I've made a bit of a feature on it. It's got the mantelpiece, and it had a big mirror on it. And I'll show you a picture. There was just something about it I just didn't like. And I couldn't really put my finger on what it was, and the mirror's been up for, I don't know, probably nearly a year. And it was a recycled mirror. It was an upcycled mirror that was in the house originally when we bought it, and I've painted it a couple of times, and I'd gold leafed it. But there's just something about it I didn't like. This feature wall, in inverted commas, in the bedroom. So I'll show it you. Are you laughing? Are you laughing at me now? Because it's like, isn't it Tuesday? Hang on, we're using materials as a feature, like polished plaster or timber. Exactly, Paul. So yeah, so feature walls. We're going to touch on that more tomorrow on the Wednesday Wows. So here we go. This was so I printed off the wall as it looked, and that's kind of why the camera's not pointing onto it, because some of you won't have seen this wall. So this was the wall how it was. We've got some storage on the side, the alcove, we've got the chimney breast, we've got the log burning stove, and we've put the mantelpiece on. This was at Christmas, hence the Christmas decorations. And I had this really big mirror here, which I in a second I'll show you why I did the decoration that I did. So I put some gold leaf and kind of distressed it. And it looked lovely, but there was just something that wasn't right about it. And this is what's happening to us as we're trapped in our house, looking at four walls, isn't it, at the minute? Kind of looking at walls and thinking of how to reinvent them. So I didn't want to do anything really expensive with the wall, but I wanted to make it a little bit more, I suppose, bring in a couple of the things which are a bit more on trend this year. So I was thinking kind of circles, and I wanted to tap into some of the other things that I had going on in the room. So with feature walls or feature areas or accent areas, one thing to do as a designer, I'd say, one thing to do is to look around the room and look at the other things that you've got in the room. So other small accents or other features in the room which you can replicate or enlarge or tap into. And one of the things that we've got going on here, so you could see the picture. One of the things, Builder Cat is fast asleep. Say hello, darling. Hello. One of the things that we've got going on in the bedroom are circles. So we've got some brass, these are from, I think they're from Industrial, actually. I bought these from Industrial. So I've got these brass lights, globes, which are pendant lights next to the bed. And then what I did with the lights, so can you see the lights up there? So they were brown originally from British Home Stores, and I sprayed them white. And then can you see? There are, every so often, I just picked out a little one of the little balls every so often and painted it gold. So that's the kind of theme that's running through the bedroom. So I've got these little brass circles, I guess. And as I was looking at the wall and looking around the room, I suddenly sort of realised, I guess, why I didn't like the wall. And the reason that I didn't like the wall was because it didn't kind of marry into the rest of the room. It didn't flow. So back to red threads, talking about red threads, do you remember the other day? So this is what we ended up with. So you had step one. Hang on. Step one, that one, with the rectangle. And then that's what we did as a transformation. So what I'm going to do is just show you actually how we did it, because this is a really easy way. Instead of just putting one mirror on a wall, it's a really, really easy way of adding interest, real visual interest, and the reflections from all the different areas go on, and at different times of the night and day, it just looks really, really different. So it's a really interesting thing to do, and it's not very expensive. So let me tell you, I think all of them, yeah, I was thinking actually that one wasn't, but all of these, I did have two circular mirrors already, two upcycled mirrors, old mirrors that I'd painted, and actually I have painted one of those, and I'll show you how I did that. All of those were from Dunelm Mill, so cheap as chips. I think this one was about 20 quid. And I think the most expensive one actually was the big one, the big metallic framed one, which I think was like £55. So actually, I'm going to say for less than 100 quid, it's completely transformed the room. And also, when I get bored of that, I'll be able to use those mirrors in different places in the house. So for me, I think, give me a thumbs up. Do you think that's a really expensive way to transform the bedroom? I kind of don't, and I think that you can buy much more expensive mirrors out there. When I looked on some of the more expensive shopping sites, each of the mirrors was like 120, 130 quid. And at that time, I could have started to shop around on Pre-Loved or eBay or at vintage shops. So you can maybe over time, if you haven't got 100 quid to spend on getting the mirrors, you could save up different shapes of, it's a bit like a gallery wall, I guess, but in mirrors. But what I've done is overlap it. So I'll show you, actually, I'll get a set of ladders. Ooh. I'll show you this one first. Let me show you, because I've got a picture, in case you fancy doing it, and I'll show you how easy it is. That was the one we've done. So actually, somebody this morning on the DMs, and I'm really sorry, I've forgotten who it was. That's really awful of me, but I read it this morning. Asked me if it was possible to spray an existing mirror, and of course it is. So this is how I did. In fact, this is how I did the top one. So that top one, I've just remembered, was black. So it was black originally. So what I did was I got some tissue paper. I put 2 layers of tissue paper. Newspaper's really good for this one. I used two layers. I covered the glass with tissue paper or newspaper. And then I used, and actually this was another tip from when we were doing this, I used painter's tape, but you can get painter's tape which goes around curves. It's sort of flexible, and that is perfect for doing round mirrors. So if you get some flexible tape, it's a bit like, it's not blue, you know, the blue and the orange one. It's not like, it's like a beige colour, and it's very flexible, beige yellow. And basically, I then used, I think I used the metallic Rust-Oleum one, or Painter's Touch, and I just sprayed it really lightly. And actually, somebody's asked me to do how-to on how you spray them, actually physically showing, so I'll do that one day. So the top one was gold, was black, and I sprayed it gold. So again, if you decide to do something similar, and you've got, I don't know, a red mirror, then just spray it. Just spray it gold, or spray it in silver if yours has silver or brass. So the other top tip, if you are going to do something like this, a little bit like a gallery wall. So when you do gallery walls, you kind of try and lay out the pictures as you've got them on the floor, or tape them up. People use tape on the wall, but it's really difficult with circles. So what I did, I measured the height and the width of the wall. And I actually got a piece of cardboard, I got some cardboard, and laid it out on the floor, literally behind me on the floor there. So when I looked at the floor and then looked up at the wall, I could see exactly how the mirrors were going to be. So can you see? Those are exactly the same shape as what's behind me. And I could work out the positioning and the pattern. And we tried a few different variations as well. I put the mirror, I had the big mirror over on that side, but I liked it because it was over towards the window. So if you try it, and if you try them in a few variations, then you'll work out exactly which shape you like. And also this helps you. The one reason I think this is a little bit different to kind of gallery walls is because they overlap. So I wanted it to be that sort of cogs, like the cogs of an engine. I wanted it to kind of have that look, even though they're not cogs necessarily, they're just circles. But how I got that was by overlapping slightly. Now, some of you may ask, hang on 1 second, let's have a look. Car painter's tape would be great for masking up, Paul's saying, similar to the sanding disc for car painting, as you mentioned yesterday. Yes, so car shops do flexible tape. Because obviously when you are painting cars, there are all sorts of weird and wonderful curvy shapes, aren't they? So I started off, you can see it there. Whoop, you can see it there. So I had them laid out on the floor, and then I started with my fixings. Started with that one up there. And actually, if you look at this one, can you see if I got the ladder? What you might have to do, if you are going to try this, what you might have to do is with a couple of the mirrors, in fact, I'll show you the width of them so you know what I mean. I want to turn it around. So if you look at this one, if you look at a couple of the width of the mirrors, check the widths, because these are really, really shallow in depth. So that one will hang straight to the wall. That's the biggest one. But then what you're going to try and do is get some variation in the perspective. So sit some further forward. And the way I've done it, if you look at this, so say if you look at this one, obviously that screw just goes straight into the wall. So you've got a really simple fixing on that. There we go, screw straight into the wall. Obviously you're going to work out what sort of wall you've got. So if you've got a stud wall with timber, or if you've got a plaster wall or a brick wall, then you use, different drill bits and different fixings and different roll plugs. So if you need any help on that, give us a shout. Although actually Mr. Moregeous and I were thinking about doing a live one day on all the different types of fixings and different walls. So basically, that little, turn you around again. That little tiny mirror can just go straight on the wall. I'll just put that one on again. Hang on a minute. Just put that one on. But then this one, because the fifth one needed to sit further forward, it needed to sit in front of these. What I've actually done is just put a block behind it and painted it the same colour as the wall. So cut a timber block, painted it white, and then I drilled the hole first in the wall, and then used a really, really long screw. You can see, I think it was like a 12 centimetres long thin screw, fitted that, and then basically just hang the mirror on the front. So I'll show you. I need to clean my bedroom, don't I, before I do these lives. I always forget stuff like that. Heaven only knows what's hanging around. So basically, really simple fixings actually on these Dunelm mirrors as well. So really simple fixing, just a screw, but obviously it's going to sit on top of the block. So when I put the final one on, and actually I'm going to edit this video and put it on YouTube with a little bit of the content from when we actually clung them. Oh, there you go. So can you see when that one sits on the front of the block, it sits in the front of these two mirrors. So that's how you get the effect, the different perspective. Does that make sense? And there you go. So that's a little bit of a Tuesday transformation. And it's not, we're not talking days and days or loads and loads of money or loads and loads of materials. Relatively inexpensive mirrors. It was just a transformation that I felt this wall didn't work, and there'll be walls in your house that you're looking at now that you think that's not really working for me. What can I do to kind of, bring it into 1920, bring it into 2020 or even 2021. So I think, be influenced by trends that are going on. I was quite influenced here by the trends that they are at the minute for the trend that's out there for circles and arches and curves. But I didn't just kind of shoehorn that into my house just because it's a trend. It worked in this room because we've got the globe lights over there, and we've got the little brass balls in the chandeliers overhead. So that trend for circles works in this room because of what's already here. It's not just kind of plonked in there just because it's on trend. So that's one of the things, that's one of the ways to make a transformation feel on trend, but also feel like it's yours as well, like it's part of your house and you've not just, slapped it on. So there you go, slapped it on top of your design. So it works with our core style. It's a bit on trend, but I think it will have a bit of longevity as well. And that's the way to take a trend and use it when you do a transformation in your house. You layer it in and make sure it works for you. So I hope that's a little bit of an interesting transformation that we've done here at Moregeous Mansions. Bit of practical stuff going on there as well, and a bit of the thought process behind why I've done things at my house, but also when I'm doing client jobs or when we're doing TV jobs or whatever. These are the sort of things that you think about, and these are the sort of tricks that you could be employing as you're doing your homes. That's it. I'll tell you, I feel like I'm on like a bit of a high today because I've been running around the place. So I bet I've been going at about 100 miles an hour, haven't I? And I was determined to keep this under 15 minutes, and I failed miserably. 19 minutes long. It's not bad. Oh no, hang on. 19 minutes? Yeah, no, 24 minutes. But was I late? Yeah, I was 3 minutes late starting, so 21 minutes, not bad. Right, I'm going to skedaddle. I've got a ton of work to do, and I'm going to try and clear off my phone so I can do all this content. I'm trying hard to kind of do the content stuff, you know, on Instagram, do the, have the live, and then do a detail shot, some practicality, and then do a bit of a wide. So I'm really trying to stick to that, be a good Instagrammer. I hope that you're all keeping positive, and I hope that you're all getting through what you need to get through in these quite difficult days. Hey, Maz. Is that you? I want to do your, I think so. I want to do there's a Pilates class on as well. I need to do some exercise today. That's the one thing that I'm really failing miserably at is keeping fit and doing some exercise, even though I've got the bike downstairs. I've been doing it like once a week. Right, I'm rabbiting on now. So I'm going to go. I hope that was useful. Wednesday wows tomorrow. We're going to talk a little bit. Thanks, Paul. Have a great day as well. We're going to talk a little bit more about